Welcome into the latest edition of Extra Time.
I bet there's no Middlesbrough questions in there.
You just wait.
Oh, don't start Goalkeepers Union, because you're absolutely wearing that badge today.
Yeah, welcome. Welcome, Stevie.
Welcome. Shaka, Hislop, Stevie, Nicol and Frank Leboeuf all with us. Let's get started with a question about, well, we knew this one would be in Jude Bellingham.
Yeah,
Is Jude Bellingham so good that he overrides Real Madrid's need for a world-class striker?
As of right now, yes.
Stevie's shaking his head.
Not in the long term.
No,
Yeah. No, they need... if you're relying on a central midfielder, albeit a great one like Bellingham, to be your top scorer and your difference maker for a whole season, then you're asking for too much. So, yeah, how about you get him some help and get yourself a proper centre forward? Because Vinny Jr. is way better coming from that left-hand side. So, yeah, you need a centre forward.
I fully agree with everything Steve says there. The thing is, I don't know. You kind of run out of things to say about Jude Bellingham.
No.
we really have. You know, I mean, who could have seen? But to that point, after 3 games, you'd have said, well, Real Madrid really need a striker. Jude Bellingham can't keep going like this. After 4 games, Real need a striker. You can't keep going like this. And with 13 games in, goodness me, what else can we say about this man?
No, the good news was tonight we didn't have to talk about him. I mean, we don't say that in a bad way.
Yeah.
That was left to Dan and the guys who were covering the game. But honestly, we feel like we're running out of words for everything that he's doing. OK, Shaka, have you had a goal scored between your legs like what Bellingham did to Ter Stegen for the game-winning goal?
That happens all the time.
How many? Is that what you meant?
That happens all the time. That happens all the time.
How many times?
A lot. Listen, I think good players go for it. Good players go for it and can do it. You know, it's not like back in the playground where, you know, and let me don't disparage anybody from playgrounds. Keep doing what you're doing. But good strikers know that that's how goalkeepers set, that there's a small enough or big enough space for the ball to fit through, and they can do it. No question they can do it.
Okay.
And I've experienced that many a time.
Right. Who was more sad watching Bellingham during today's Clasico match? Mick Jagger or Stevie and all Liverpool fans wondering what could have been if Bellingham had signed with the Reds?
Oh.
Well, I have to be very honest, that never crossed my mind.
So you're totally satisfied?
Aye.
I know who was the saddest man in Catalonia.
I'll tell you what, you know who didn't get any satisfaction? The Rolling Stones. Did you see their face when the second one went in? Because before the game, they played the music, and Barcelona score, like, they're all like that, the two of them like that, yes. And then the camera went straight to them after Bellingham got the second one, and they were like that.
You know why, Stevie? Because you can't always get what you want.
Oh, God. You know who's the saddest man? You know who's the saddest man in Catalonia? Luis Garcia.
Luis?
Aye, Luis.
When he said to Xavi, when Xavi's walking up, that was a good first time. Oh, God.
He almost was hugging Xavi. Xavi was even saying, you know, Real Madrid controlled that in the end.
That was such a good first time.
Xavi should have grabbed his head and put it on his shoulder.
Oh, don't worry. Okay. We'll get him next time, Luis. We'll get him next time.
Check it out on our YouTube channel. Luis Garcia's reaction. All right.
Okay.
For you, Frankie, biggest surprise, Jude Bellingham or Tottenham?
Oh.
I would say Tottenham. I was about to bet that Jude Bellingham would do great because he's a fantastic player and it wasn't a surprise. It's just a confirmation of his talent. But to see Tottenham, after so many years struggling, not having any idea how to control or lead the game, to see what Postecoglou is capable or was capable of doing with almost the same player, even a lesser quality team because Kane left, it's absolutely amazing. And a big surprise and a pleasant one because the way they play is very pleasant to watch.
Okay, for all, Modric came... Oh, did you want to say something on that?
No, I'm
right.
100% with Frankie.
For all, Modric came on and made a big impact on today's game. Where would you rank him all time at Madrid? 500 appearances at the club plus many more trophies.
See, that's an impossible question.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
You know, Madrid have had so many unbelievably good players.
He's up there, though, isn't he, with the other?
That's a big old pool.
To try and put one above the others is nigh on impossible. It's nigh on impossible.
But his name wouldn't
all you
not
got
be
to
on the
say
list.
is, all you got to say is, he's one of the greatest midfielders they've ever had.
Yeah.
That's all you need to say. And then, when you think of all the midfielders they've had, that tells you how good he is, as opposed to trying to put him on a list.
I'll go with one of the greatest midfielders of a generation. I think that does him and all the great midfielders that have played for Real Madrid full justice. It's really difficult to compare, and we keep saying this. How do you compare what he's doing now with what Zinedine Zidane did? You know, it's just, in many ways, it really is apples and oranges.
Does Barcelona have the best under-20 team in Europe? Can they emulate the Messi, Xavi and Iniesta era years from now?
I don't know. Let's keep in mind that I thought Xavi was at his best for Barcelona later on, in his late 20s, maybe even early 30s, when I think he grew into the team that Pep Guardiola built and how they played. So while it's easy to sit here and look at all these players at 22 and 23 and 16 in the case of Lamine Yamal and say, well, they're building for the future, it's an inexact science. That just because these players are this good now doesn't mean that they're going to keep being this good, that they're going to fit whoever the manager is and whatever the new challenge is. So it's, again, that's not a fair comparison at all.
Frank, what's the percentage chance Chelsea qualifies for Europe next season?
Fair play trophy? What do you mean, fair play?
None.
If they win the fair play trophy.
Not 0%.
Yeah, I say none. You know, I mean, you have to be realistic. You have to rebuild many things. Find a way to win games, and we thought they got the solution, but we saw that against a very defensive opponent, they struggled today. I guess they're gonna struggle maybe less against the Tottenham, Manchester City, because they will have spaces, but they're too average right now for me to consider that they can get into Europe next season, which is absolutely dramatic for me, because Chelsea needs to be in Europe in order to get some strikers, a top striker. Otherwise, top players won't come to Chelsea. That's the big issue for that big club. If they don't qualify for Europe, they won't get the best player. It was the problem for Manchester United and Arsenal for like almost a decade. It is the problem that Chelsea is facing right now.
What's Europe? Top 6, top 7?
Top 6.
Is it 6?
6. Depending on how the cups and stuff work out, it could be 7.
Right.
But even then, you don't fancy them, do you? I mean, there's only Brentford that are ahead of them that you think they may be better than come the rest of the season.
What if they get a top striker in January?
Then they might get in the top 7. But without it, no chance.
For the boys, we are 10 matches into the Premier League season, and the top 2 spots are held by the teams from North London, with Liverpool and Man City right there with them. Could this wind up being a 4-team race from wire to wire?
Yes.
A 4-horse race?
I think those 4 are playing by far the best football in the league. So yeah, I don't see anybody else kind of disrupting that, in all honesty. Who's outside of that top 4 that's challenging?
But all 4 staying in it all the way through?
3 of them definitely are.
I mean, the big question is, what does staying in it really mean? At points last season, City were 8 points off Arsenal, and all of a sudden, 8 points off the leaders in February. You're thinking, well, you're not really in the race, and all of a sudden, City just kind of being City.
Yeah, but that's City, though, isn't it? If Tottenham get to that stage when they're 8 or 9 points behind, then they're not getting back. whereas we never ever wrote City off.
Yeah. So what's the answer?
I think it's definitely 3. Tottenham, I don't think any of us can hang our hat on Tottenham and say that they're going to be in it to the end of the season, because they don't have a big enough squad. They're a couple of injuries away from struggling. You know, Madison, for example, if Madison goes down, who's going to create for Tottenham? They don't have anybody else. If Son goes down, who's going to be scoring the goals? Because Richarlison isn't scoring goals. In fact, Richarlison's probably the only problem they have, because it seems like they're trying to fit him in, but he's not producing, and he doesn't seem like a guy who's going to be, like we were talking to Eddie Nketiah earlier on about, you know, he's quite happy to be there. He'll play when you want him to play, and if he's not playing, he understands. I don't think Richarlison's that way. So yeah, I think 3 out of 4.
I'll double down on something Frank touched on earlier. Postecoglou has been great.
Nice. Oh, no,
he really has been good for them, and it's good to see.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant stuff. Okay, thanks so much for sending in all of your questions. Make sure to join the crew tomorrow, and they'll be looking back on the